The NBC board in a statement yesterday revealed that the percentage increases currently being demanded by the employees will only have severe effects on the company's finances, noting that the broadcaster could retrench half of its workforce should its current financial situation remain, which the board blames on the broadcaster's historical debt.
You cannot take money and go and give it to salary increases while you cannot pay the salaries itself. It just does not make sense. So I think it is important to understand that, yes, the colleagues are very sensitive. It's chaos out there, and when there's chaos, people say a lot of things out of emotions. But I think we also need to manage expectations. And we want to make it very, very clear that the NBC is in no financial position to afford salary increases. What the strike then does is it makes things worse in terms of generating our own revenues. The second thing I want to say is the historical debt of the NBC. You can see based on the presentation that it has been coming on for many, many years. And it doesn't matter whether you put in new boards, the historical debt just gets worse. The board is busy discussing this with the shareholder to say, how do we permanently get rid of this historical debt so that the NBC is able to move from step A to B on a permanent basis? Because you cannot make progress in other, from an operational point of view, that staff members bring their part in terms of performance, but you have a historical debt that keeps you from making progress as an NBC. So I think we need to get to a place where we're saying that let's get rid of this historical debt permanently so that we can move on. We've asked the management team to do a calculation for us in terms of if the current funding remains as it is, at 127 million, 124,
127.
What would the implications be for the NBC? Assuming that everybody's back at work, not even when they're on strike. The implications would be that we would have to let go of about 50% of the workforce just to meet our monthly obligations. Okay? And this is when people are not even on strike. So I think it is very important for the public to understand this and to appreciate the facts, and also for our colleagues who are on strike to understand that our war here is not about salary increases. It's about sustaining jobs.
The board further stressed that its only concern now is the sustaining of jobs at the NBC, and should government avail the needed funds, it will go to ensure that operations continue, further adding that the broadcaster being a non-commercial state-owned enterprise, the government is obligated by law to fund its operations.
The question here beckons then, how did NBC get here? NBC got here because NBC has huge historical debt. And this debt, we can go as far back as 2003. If you follow the books, and NBC is a public entity and its books is open to scrutiny by public, you'll start realizing that if you study the books of the NBC, that change started to happen around 2010 when the former Director General was appointed, Ambassador Ahom. That's when he started confronting some of these issues like our tax. We must not use the word government bailing out. Government is not bailing out NBC. Government is meeting its statutory obligations to subsidize NBC by law. The Namibian Broadcasting Act says that NBC is not being subsidized by government as a favor. It's a legal obligation by government. So, but we also understand that Treasury is depressed at the moment. The economy is not doing very well. We also understand that we have government to share the cake with so many priorities. So let's just put that into context and say, but the other contradiction is you have too many people, let people go, you're paying too much in salaries, and on the other hand, we are told, yeah, you must give your contract workers permanent employment. You follow what I mean? I want to urge my colleagues who are on strike right now like I said right in my introduction, we are not taking lightly your demands, and we are not taking lightly the strike action that you have taken. NBC values each and every one of you. We are urging you to please come back to work. We are urging you to come back to the negotiating table. We will not play games with your livelihoods. Some of the colleagues wake up early in the morning to make sure that information is disseminated. Some of you work late at night. I know some of you even work without even claiming overtime. We are not trivializing your strike. This is not about that. This is a situation where we are in a precarious financial situation. And we are trying our best on the board side to make sure that we create a conducive working environment.